Alexa, turn the fan on. Alexa, turn the fan on.
What did your last slave die of? I'm not your bloody assistant. I am only here to make money for Mr. Bezos. Do you know how much those dildo-shaped spaceships cost?
Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to an incredibly hot pain cave. For the second part of my Dream Pain Cave build series. And it's quite appropriate, it's hot in here today, because what I'm going to be talking about is this. So this is the Kickr Headwind fan. As pain cave accessories go, this is right up there in the super extravagant band, I think. But I kind of justify it because I'm spending so much time in here right now. And we are in the middle of the UK summer, and it is unseasonably hot for us at the moment. So at the moment I'm spending in excess of an hour in here every morning, and I'm doing that probably 5 or 6 days a week. So anything that you can do to improve your comfort is obviously a good thing. I'd set aside some money to upgrade the kit in here, and as you saw, I upgraded the Apple TV to the Mac Mini, and one of the other things I put on the list was a better fan. Now, for years I've been using one of these 20-inch chrome floor fans, which was an Amazon special, and I'll be honest with you, it's been pretty good. The drawbacks with it are, though, there's no way of controlling it remotely. So when you're on the bike, if you set the fan to 4, the fan's set to 4. And, you know, right now in the middle of summer, that'll probably work. But there are times in the winter where you just think to yourself, I'm just going to kind of have to pick a setting and go with it, because it's going to be really cold to begin with, and I'm going to kind of warm up as I go through the workout. So having some degree of remote controllability was really preferable to me. I'd been using a smart plug with an Amazon Echo to control it. But I don't know about you, recently all of my Amazon devices have just stopped listening to me for some reason. The one in the pain cave here especially just won't hear what I say and just won't do what I tell it to. And I suppose the conspiracy theorist would think, is that Amazon planned redundancy, or is it just getting old? What's going on? I look at it more pragmatically. I just think it's a bit long in the tooth, you know, and it's just not working like it used to for some reason. Some of that could be that the Wi-Fi down here isn't splendid, despite the fact I've got like a mesh Wi-Fi down here, and it's getting probably 30 Mbps, which isn't bad, you know. It should work with that, but it's not, as you saw in that little light-hearted intro I did. So I would find that I'd get on the bike and literally that scene would play out. I'd start warming up. I'd ask it to turn the fan on. Thank you and goodbye, you know. So then you're into, right, I've got to get off the bike and I've got to start the fan. And if you're in the middle of something like an FTP test or a workout, it's incredibly annoying. So I was just done with it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to blow some money on something decent. Now, about the only controllable fan I could find was this Kickr one. There is another one. The brand escapes me, but it comes with kind of like a little wireless remote you can put on the handlebars somewhere. I didn't really fancy that because by all accounts that remote isn't IP rated, so, you know, right where all the sweat's dropping off of you. And if you've seen my video about what the sweat did to the micro switch on the Watt bike, yeah, well, that was going to be a non-starter for me. And when you look at the value proposition, God, I sound like I'm giving a presentation at work. When you look at the value proposition of the two, that fan was about 100 quid. The Kickr fan was 250. And there's no getting around that. Like I say, it's an extravagant purchase, but put a value on comfort. and obviously put a value on how that impacts your performance as well. So yeah, I went for it. So what I really like about this fan is obviously the smart features that, I don't have to think about it, it does it for me. And the way that it does that is it can be controlled in one of three ways. You can just set it manually. You can use the buttons on the front of the fan to pick a speed, go with that speed, thank you very much. You can use your phone to control it remotely, but there are two automatic controls associated with it. So you can get it to pair with a Bluetooth heart rate belt, and you can get it to pair with your trainer. So it'll look at, if you pair it with your trainer, it'll look at trainer speed and set the fan speed accordingly. So the faster you pedal, it kind of deduces that you're probably working harder, you're probably getting hotter. Thank you very much. Ups the fan speed. The other way that you can do it is you can have it, like I say, pair with your heart rate belt, and then you can set heart rate zones or a range of heart rates where the fan will kick in. So, you say, okay, so start the fan at level 1 at, say, in my case, 90 beats per minute, and get me to max fan speed by, in my case, 120 beats per minute. I get really hot. That's because I'm quite well insulated at the moment. So that heart rate feature to me is kind of optimum. I don't see the value in the speed thing because, just because you're not turning the pedals quickly on the bike doesn't mean you're working hard. If you've climbed Alpe du Zwift or any other Zwift KOMs, you'll know that's a fact. Whereas the heart rate is always a credible measure of the amount of work that you're doing. So I go with heart rate. And what I really like about it is there's none of this asking a useless lump of electronics from Amazon to start the fan for you. Literally, if I'm wearing the paired heart rate belt and I walk into this room, the fan starts. It goes on at level 1 and it ticks along until I start getting warmed up, and then it will gradually ramp up for me. Absolutely love it. It'll even, if I come in here to put some of my cycling kit away after a ride, it'll even ramp up then. It detects your heart rate because you're still running the heart rate belt, and I've been known to stand in front of it and just cool down a little bit. So there we are, the reasons that I bought it and what I really like about it. Like I say, 250 quid, can you justify it? I think, to be honest with you, it's a luxury. And there are other things that if you were just setting up a pain cave, you could spend that 250 quid better on. For example, if you didn't have a device to run Zwift on, incidentally, that's not Zwift, by the way, but if you didn't have a device to run Zwift on, your 250 quid's going to buy you an Apple TV 4K or something like that to run it on. So that's 250 quid better spent. And I'll be honest with you, in terms of the volume of air it shifts a really good volume of air, but probably that old 20-inch floor fan probably shifts a greater volume. Now the difference is that the 20-inch floor fan sends that volume everywhere, so it doesn't really hit you. This thing sends a targeted stream right over you. And what I would say is that, you need to be a little bit back from it. Don't think you can sit close to this thing because it's designed to be a little distance away from you. But what you find is that column of air totally encloses you. And I just find it keeps me really cool. In terms of noise, I've read some reviews, or I've seen some reviews where people have said that they found it noisy. Yeah, it is a little bit. When it starts up, especially on its lower speeds, there's kind of an electronic sort of buzzing about it, just a kind of electric motor sort of noise. But you know what? Once you're spinning the pedals on the Watt bike or your trainer, you wouldn't even hear that. In terms of it pushing air out, it's no more noisy than any other fan. And a really good thing about it is this design that lets you push it flush against a wall because it's drawing its air in from the sides. So yeah, it's really well thought out. What I found is that I've started using it head on, so that's keeping the front of me cool. And I've taken the old 20-inch floor fan And on really hot days like today, I'll set that behind me. So I've got kind of the optimum cooling solution. You're cooled all around. And even though I can't control the 20-inch, you know, I literally just switch it on and let it do its thing. What I find is that I get a really good balance, because when I start to get really hot, I'm getting cooling on my back from that thing. And then I'm getting cooling on the front from the Kickr Headwind fan. So there it is, the Kickr Headwind fan, 250 quid. It's expensive. It is a luxury. Buy it if you can justify it. Buy it if you can afford it. But what I would say is, if you can justify it and you can afford it, it is going to make your time in your pain cave probably just that little bit more comfortable, in terms of not having to faff around and have a fan that, you know, isn't at the right setting, and it just becomes an annoyance, or you have to get off the bike to start it and the smart plug doesn't work. All of that goes away with this thing. Like I say, there it is. Anyway, thanks for watching this one, YouTube. Like I say, that's probably one of the shortest product reviews I've done recently. But hey, what can you say about a fan, even if it did cost 250 quid? You will notice though, I'm running a different app. So keep your eyes peeled. This is a new cycling simulation I've come across. And no, before you say anything, it's not Roovy, even though it does look a little bit like Roovy. We know about my history with Roovy, we won't go there. So yeah, this is a new cycling simulation I am going to do a review on. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Thanks as always for watching this one, YouTube, and I will catch you in the next.